good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of Conversations with Taz. And we're going to dig into white woman tears. And the reason why this conversation has come up, and this conversation is well overdue to be had, but it has come up because of a viral situation that is now making social media, real world news outlets, etc. But before we dive in, here's a nice example I found of white woman tears. And yes, it does have to do with this particular situation. And if you all know the situation between a white woman who claims, she started off saying she was indigenous to Japan, then indigenous to Alaska, now she's indigenous to the United States. And an actual man from the Native community look away, turn the flame off for a minute, and then come back.
The truth needs to be out there. And then I'm deleting TikTok and I'm taking a long break from this app because I'm tired of being used as a pawn by people with larger follower counts than me, banking on my kindness to cover up and not acknowledge their shitty fucking behavior. Chelsea is absolutely using this moment to defame an indigenous man. These are her white woman tears. I denied that yesterday, thinking that I was protecting somebody who's a victim. She is as much as a victim as I am, and you don't see me posting on Instagram that I need to go to the hospital, that I am potentially pregnant with this man's baby, that I'm having thoughts about unaliving myself.
Fun fact, that woman that was speaking was with Lance on Valentine's Day. And within the past 24, 48 hours, posted on Instagram her wedding to her wife.
I'm sorry, what?
Her wedding to her wife.
Wow. Okay. Okay, all right.
And for those that, before you say that having this conversation is victim blame, no. Because Chelsea herself tweeted on March 1st, revenge is unhealthy, but boy, is the option really fucking nice. He was extremely calculating. And this happens way too often, historically and especially with the birth of social media and how different social media platforms exist and the power that people can yield with their platforms.
It's not even so much the platform. It really isn't. Let's time travel back to I want to say this is around 2016 into 2017. This was when the Me Too movement was at its height. Now did it do some good? Yes, a lot of people got taken out of things that they shouldn't have been in the first place. It removed a lot of people who should have been removed years ago. But it also served as a double-edged sword for people who weren't doing anything but were accused, and it didn't matter if 24 hours later it was proved to be a lie. The court of public opinion tried and convicted this person. Their career, their credibility, everything gone
And let's be
in a
real,
matter of seconds.
the judicial system tried and convicted people based off white women tears. And then we found out it was all a lie, either by their own admission that they lied or evidence coming out that was suppressed in the court system because people feel that once a white woman cries, you have to believe her and you have to defend her and you have to protect her. No. I'm sorry, his name eludes me, but recently there was a man who spent 40 plus years in prison for a rape that never happened that he was accused of.
Yep.
These women and their cousin knew that they lied, and they still, upon him being exonerated because of DNA evidence, and them actually looking at the proper exam that was given to these women, they still tried to weaponize white women tears. And what gets me the most as a black woman, and no, I'm not taking away from any other woman on the planet, but I can only speak from my perspective because I've only ever been black, is that when white women weaponize their tears, they expect BIPOC women to be weaponized in their favor.
Oh, all
But
the
when we
intersectionality
express,
goes out the window.
yeah, when we express our pain, our anger, our hurt, we're told that we're doing the most. We shouldn't put this here. We shouldn't put that there. We shouldn't speak of this publicly. Are you sure you didn't do anything? Are you sure you didn't put that? Well, when exactly did it happen? They want to talk to you 101 times about it. And if you think I'm joking, I am not. It has happened to me where I was questioned over and over and over and over and over again. And when I said I don't want to keep talking about it, how dare me? But nobody said anything about this woman claiming to have gone through something traumatic, and she couldn't shut up about it.
Even roped another person into it.
Honestly, at this point, I do not believe that the other white woman who spewed her white
No,
tears.
no. I'm not talking about her.
Oh, you're talking about the indigenous woman? Yeah, because the
No.
second white woman,
No.
after I
I'm
found out
not
that she
talking
got
about her
married this
either.
past weekend.
I'm not talking about her either.
No, I'm saying after I found out that the second white woman got married to a whole ass woman this weekend, she also weaponized her white woman tears. And y'all can take this how you want to take it, but I mean this from the core of my soul. I better not ever catch neither one of them in the street because it's going to be on sight. Because the trauma that they invoked this past week, the disrespect that they unleashed upon Black, Indigenous, and otherwise women, not just on this app, but in real life. And there are those of us that have been chased off of shit and we didn't even share our trauma.
Like I said, it doesn't matter what app or in real life, whatever you do, if something happens unfortunately to a white woman, no matter what it is, whether it happened or didn't happen, if she has one tear streaming down her face, everybody and their mama is in the business. And I'm just like, so I'm confused. The same thing happens to another woman of color, and there's no outrage, there's no disrespect, there's no newscast, there's no news broadcast. I mean, look at what happened with Gabby Petito. And I'm not putting her family on blast. Again, she needed to be found just like anybody else. But to make it absolute national news, to where the entire world was tuned into their TV screens, glued to find out where this woman is, where we still have about a good 40 to 50 missing Black children between the ages of 14 and 17. That other woman who had lost her son, they had found his body 3 weeks. He sat in the morgue and didn't notify his mother. 3 weeks? 3 weeks. This woman has been pleading, begging, doing everything she can, as a mother should, trying to find her son. And you sat on that body for 3 weeks, I would have sued the town,
Yeah,
the
but a
police
white woman,
department, and everything else.
but a white woman can get on the internet after deciding to buy her own ticket, give a grown ass man money, and Players Club it up all over his lap in his house. Get on the internet and fake cry, because I still have yet, at all the videos that were sent to me, and when I was directed to go to her Instagram page, I had yet to see a damn tear actually roll out of her eye sockets. And everybody pissed and he ain't shit and he ain't this and he ain't. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
I
As a
got
queer woman, if
I
you're
got a
willing to
side note.
pay to come see me, pay me to see me, and give me the goods with no strings attached, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna take it.
I got a joke. I got a joke. You ready, Queen Kim? You ready? I hope you laugh. But it sounds like we have another audition for Law and Order. with the fake crying.
See, white women are all over
I was
Instagram
just like,
auditioning for Fox News.
why
They need
does
to
this
start.
situation sound familiar? Because I don't know if you quick him. I really want you to go to my profile on TikTok. There is a video of me making fun of what's his name in Minnesota, where he was trying to fake cry
Oh,
on the
Kyle
stand.
Rittenhouse.
I was the director, like it was a Law and Order episode, and I'm trying to direct the court scene.
That's exactly what it was like when you had to fire him at the end of the scene.
I
But
said,
Queen
you know
Kim,
what?
give us your thoughts on this, and thank you for joining us tonight.
I knew I could get her to
I
laugh.
can just, it's just like I can see his face. You
He's
know?
like, and I was just like, see, I went full in. I went full in like I was
Yeah,
a real bomb.
he was like cut into.
I was just like, Jesus. It was hilarious. I'll send it to you if you're still on TikTok. I'll send it to you because
I'm there. I'm unbanned tomorrow morning. Please
But
send it to me.
wait. The funny thing, I did a Karen ends up at the pearly gates. I think it's one of my best work. Oh, God was mad. He's like, excuse me?
Hell's favorite secretary needs to do her version of this week.
Because it was so funny because it was just like, because you know what happens. She was like, can I speak to your manager? Creator of the universe, and you want to speak to my man? I'm the manager. Hello?
You have
home?
to have a boss. Oh my
It's just like
God,
there's
dude.
only one lady that goes to my daddy's church, and anytime I go up there to help him, like with sound or whatever, she's like, "Well, maybe I should ask your father. Maybe I should whoop your ass." So one time she went crying to my daddy. Baby, we're Caribbean black. That don't work with us. That's some American shit. If you cross the border, we don't care about your tears.
At all.
We don't care. We outnumber you.
Jamaica's the same way. Jamaica's the same way. We won't play that.
Know.
Nah,
we gonna send you on a swim. We gonna send you on a swim. That's
we're just gonna take a little. We're just gonna take a little trip.
Your thoughts on the weaponizing of white women's tears, Kim?
Well, you know, I like to consider myself a reformed white woman weaponizer. Just because, I mean, I think all of us in some way, shape, or form have got to come to terms with the fact that we have all done this or can identify with this behavior. And are we going to accept it and take responsibility for it and change? Or are we still going to sit in denial until somebody's calling the cops on us? And, you know, rumor on the TikTok streets is they had to take her. And, you know, I'm from Florida, so we call it getting Baker acted. But I don't know what they call it in New York where she's from. But I don't think in 2022, the weaponizing of our tears is working out the way it used to work out for us. And I think we're either going to sit in cognitive dissonance or we're going to just take responsibility for it, for our own behavior, or educating other white women to the obvious. It's like you're going to either sit and just let everybody see that you really don't care. You really don't care. Or you're going to just step up to the plate and change because everything's moving forward. You're either with it or not.
So we were having a discussion before we came on live, and I don't know if you know Crystal Crave and Drew Afuelo. I said, anyhow, these two get together, it would be destruction. The entire app would literally implode. I said, we need to keep these two at a professional distance because that would be like time just completely going crazy.
And then I added another person to the mix. Because, see, I have a black woman Avengers list that I secretly want to see unite.
Good Lord. She's trying to kill us all, Queen Kim. She's trying to kill us all.
Look, we all got to go at some point, okay? Life is not eternal. I want to go out on top, Okay. And if black women can come in and fix this shit, and we have like a week left of we can just actually have peace and harmony, I will take 1 week left. Now just realizing that last week, don't ask no questions about the debauchery that I do. Okay, mind your business. Just mind your business. Okay. I'm gonna do everything that I was
All
afraid to
right.
do before because I now know that the world is ending. But also, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up the fact that white women tears aren't having the impact that they used to. And I think a lot of it is because too many white women are now making themselves racially ambiguous. Because preparing for this conversation, y'all know I'm the queen of research. And there was a video that was sent to me, and I was like, crap. When I was first introduced to Chelsea, this is how she presented herself. She claimed originally to be indigenous to New Zealand. Then she claimed to be indigenous to Alaska. Then she made a video, I guess, before they carted her away to the hug yourself place. Um, and I'm not being critical. I've been to the hug yourself place too. That's why I call it the hug yourself place. I have a daughter that's been to the hug yourself place. That's why we call it the hug yourself place. Some people call it the grippy sock place. Then she said that she was native. She was a native woman. That people were attacking a native woman regarding her pregnancy. Girl,
You've worn
I have
more
been
hats than a
pregnant
clown. What's
4
going
times,
on over there?
but
You
I've
know,
been
I made
pregnant
a
and I've given birth 4 times. And even by the time I was pregnant with my youngest child, the one that comes every Monday to harass me because that's his hobby. After Right after you do the do, a week you still don't you're not having morning sickness. You're not having everything. And I'm looking at this woman's videos like you literally studied every Lifetime movie because every woman doesn't have morning sickness the same way. Each time I was pregnant, my morning sickness was nosebleeds. And it is a
right,
legitimate morning sickness. My granny wasn't sick in the morning, she said, when she was pregnant with my mom and my aunt and uncle. She would get pregnant like midway during her shift at work.
right.
If she walked outside and then went back in, she said she was fine. My aunt, nothing. My youngest sister in law, she had a fever pretty much the whole time of her. Just sitting here like, girl, you don't know how any of this works. How you cosplaying pregnancy and
That's a good term. That's exactly what she's doing.
miscarriage. Were there
I
people who
mean,
legitimately have had this?
I
I
think
had
that's
child
just
sexual assault outed. I had mine outed all over TikTok.
right.
And I got banned. And I didn't even get a chance to defend myself because I stayed comment and post banned. I got called everything but my damn name. And I wasn't the one that said anything about me being assaulted. But she comes on and goes, we discussed polyamory and we discussed this. And I decided to do this, but oh, I feel bad for me. And everybody's like, Lance is a piece of shit. He must go down. She was wrong. This is SA, informed consent. Nice little nugget, people. Stop using words just to use words. They all have meanings and they
Right.
so that we can communicate. Informed consent is between you and your medical
And you're a
practitioner,
medical
you and
professional.
your
Yeah.
attorney, you and regarding anybody that has to deal with your constitutional rights. That's it. If you choose to give up the good goods and not ask somebody to protect themselves, because we have female condoms. So even if you don't want him to put one on, you can put a female condom on. I work with too many nonprofits regarding sexuality and sex for people not to know this. And for a period of time before I lost my main account, Chelsea and I were mutual. So I know she saw those videos regarding this information. She didn't ask, are you fucking somebody else? She just thought that her white woman cuckoo was going to be the good to make him leave his wife, leave everybody else, and do it. Because if he was running through women like that, why did it take now for him to get exposed? Nobody else slipped up. Nobody else got butt hurt. And one thing, Chelsea, when you get out of the sunken place, I want you to look me in my eyes. What you did was fucked up. You don't have no real friends, and your mom and daddy didn't raise you right. And I'm gonna tell you why. One thing for certain, two things for sure. If it's so good, you don't never tell nobody. You don't act crazy in the streets. Because guess what? Every floozy in town now wants to see it and experience it, and they gonna keep their mouth shut and they gonna keep running back to it. While you talking about, I don't want you to give your attention to your 2 million followers.
And
So
see,
you
that's
thought
another
if you
thing.
platformed him, he would be with you?
And see,
You really thought that you was gonna colonize indigenous dick like we were still in the 1800s?
Yeah, I think that's about what the idea was, even if it was willfully ignorant to the actual terminology of her behavior. There's no way to deny that this is the exact same behavior that white women that we do seem to exhibit throughout history and then somehow always get away with it. And even now, the confusion is preposterous to me. Like indigenous women are losing their accounts because white women are upset. Well, what the fuck are white women upset for? What does this have to do with anybody else when it was come straight out the gate? There were holes in her stories. Straight out the gate, there were rumors of this happening before. And now on Twitter, the ex from England is popping up with his story that this has happened before. The exact same thing. All alleged, all alleged.
I believe
Wait. For
ex from
our
Kenya has
legal
come out.
experts, I'll say it allegedly.
Yeah, and the
Allegedly.
ex from Kenya has come out on Instagram allegedly claiming the same behavior. And why
You
are you?
know,
Would you stop? You do not
you
need
know,
to be the center of attention.
I really want to always never like there's almost a level of psychosis sometimes with some of us. Like the white one that was a she was some type of racial therapist. She worked with minorities. She was the one that came up here. She had teeth, long brown hair. She talked about I had a bracelet and it broke. I wish
Oh yeah.
and it was something about white power. I don't know. She had a little fetish. I wish I could remember more details about the content. But I was thinking to myself, imagine being white and having the look to where everyone thinks that you're innocent, but there's actually a predator inside of there with a fetish or with a desire. And you not only have the privilege to be in proximity of who you are a predator to, but everyone will believe you because you're the caseworker, you're the social worker, you're the comedian who is an activist on social media. I mean, I don't know what it is. Do you got to throw a rock at our head and crack it open for us to come to enlightenment that this behavior is absolutely destructive? Or are we somehow just going to wake up one day before the end of man? Fuck if I know.
I say this because I know I remember this was I think this was right around the time that you had gotten permanently banned. There was this whole quote
Oh, me.
unquote crime. Yeah, you, not her. She's still on there. She's
Oh,
still kicking butt and taking names.
I mean, they
TikTok.
perma-banned me. They was like, bitch, we know your IP at this point. We done had enough of your shenanigans. You can't never come back. We tired of you making white people feel bad, and we tired of you making men cry. Don't come back. Don't ever come back.
But there was a challenge going around where you had these white women literally do that whole crying and then shut it off thing. And
Yeah.
I was like, see, this is just too close to the truth.
Come on, man.
This is just too close to the truth because that happens on a basis. If something happened that they don't like, or if they're told no for some reason, I don't get it. You'll sit there and if we say no to anything, it's why can't what is this? I don't understand. What do you
Right.
mean you don't understand? It's a full declarative sentence. There's no wiggle room. And I'm
Exactly.
just
Look
like,
at the white person in my house. Look at him. He can't take no for an answer. He can't take
Because I had somebody who I was talking to at my job, and it became clearer and clearer why half of the time the disconnect between her and the black women who were working at my job, it became clearer and clearer, because it was just like she wouldn't understand when a boundary was set why she couldn't cross it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is it that you're not understanding? What didn't you understand? No, just like how in a situation between a man and woman, no means no. It's the
Right.
same thing.
Same concept.
No
Do you
is a
think?
declarative sentence.
Do you feel that you're always running into just white people that just have that like deer in headlight stare at you when you're just constantly going, do I have to explain the boundary yet again to you? I mean, these are common sense boundaries. You would never cross them into our space. You would never, ever intentionally do something that would cross a boundary if you knew it was going to hurt someone that looked like me. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like you're constantly like, this is,
It's like a constant conversation that has to be
yeah.
had when you say this is not acceptable to me.
Why?
And you're just
Why
like,
is
what do
that?
you
Like, bitch,
mean?
I don't get it. I don't get
Well,
no, I
here's the
do
thing.
get it. It took me a long time. I mean, I'm 51. I wasn't,
Hey,
together
hold up. Wait,
forever.
whoa. We're not gonna speed past that like you didn't
Yeah.
just say what you just said.
Oh yeah, I got the turkey. I got the turkey. Yeah, I got the white ladies shit.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe being unproblematic
One,
de-ages you.
Well, since I got sober, I am turning back the hands of time with all this healthy living. White people can do it to an extent, but we do wrinkle like fucking raisins in the sun. If white women would just accept what we are and come to terms with it and start to heal from the inside out, then we wouldn't be up all in everybody else's culture stealing shit, because we'd be too busy figuring out who the fuck we are on the inside. And I
but let me
think coming
also
to
say
terms with
this.
that.
But let me say this because DMAC knows this more than anybody else. I've made a few videos here and there about it, but I have my brother's wife. Um, she used white woman tears to basically destroy my family, and I am not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating. I just went through a traumatic experience that was orchestrated by her, and she worked overtime to cut me out of the situation because she really doesn't want a resolution. She's the same person that tries to tell my biracial nephew, who is quite large and quite known for his athletic prowess, that he can identify as a white man. Then built him a room in their garage. So imagine a teenager just entering high school, hitting puberty, star athlete of the state, not just the city, the state. Yeah, this is what I'm up against. But I'm going to say this. If we really want change, and I know we call out to white people all the time saying, check your white relatives. Black people, I need to talk to you for a minute. You know when your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your cousin, your aunt that's white is acting a damn fool. And you know when they're weaponizing that shit. You just don't care when it's not weaponized towards you. So instead of sitting there gaslighting who it's being weaponized against, speak up, because that's the only way it's going to stop. Because until it stops at the familial level, it's not going to stop at the public level. Because think about it. I don't care how much you like or dislike your family. Family has a way of cutting to the quick with you and making you look at yourself. And if your family is like, no ma'am, Miss Mama, sit down. That's wrong. Whether you like it or not, they do it enough times, you're going to stop. That's no different than all these Karens that want to cry in public. When their families speak up, all sides.
That's
I don't care
okay.
if you're married to a Japanese man. He needs to sit you down and go, this is not it. And this will
Well,
not be tolerated.
now you got to remember.
1925 and they still own us. You can speak up.
Now, coming from a perspective where I have married men that are not only not white, but also culturally aren't American, there's just rules and kind of situations where you have to abide by cultural things. I don't have to watch my words. I'm not on TikTok right now. Hold on. Let me talk real. There's just certain dynamics that if you want to assimilate yourself into the culture, you have to abide by certain things. And white women, I don't think get that. And the way you were saying checking your family, being from the deep South, do you think that's why the culture vultures just kind of, when they get to TikTok, they're just blown away by how much they're smacked with resistance? Because they have they've been assimilated because they were kicked out of their white family's house the first day that their mom heard a rumor. So as a black family, I saw it all growing up. The black family would never let the white girl be on the damn streets when her family took her, threw her out. So she was just assimilated herself into a family out of love and nurturing. Do you think it's because no one checked them on the daily that they started to project it onto social media? Like, I'm trying to figure out where's the disconnect where white women just are like, well, this is okay because I hang around black people all the time and nobody's ever checked me before TikTok.
It's like this. It's like when you have a child, and I'm sure all of you have experienced this, and especially anyone who dates men. Shade, no shade. When you've had a man with a coddling ass mother who always makes excuses for everything that he does wrong. It's the girl's fault. It was the school's fault. He should have been the star quarterback. That's the coach's fault. And they get it ingrained in their mind that I'm always right. It's everybody else that's wrong. I'm perfect Patty. I'm perfect Patrick. That's why I say it starts with the family. And even if you allow someone to marry into your family, because I know my brother was duped. We all were duped. We did not see who this woman truly was until 2008. And I know the exact date because it was the day of my mother's funeral that she'd finally decided to let her true colors come out. And the only reason I didn't set it off then is because I knew I was emotional and I would have taken it too far and I would have been taken away from my kids.
Parallel there. Remember, if you saw the original 1957 Cinderella, the stepmother didn't act out until the father passed. So she was waiting for your mother to not be there because she knew your mother would check her all the way down the street and back.
Because everybody knows I did not grow up with sisters. I have 8 brothers, no sisters.
Yikes.
This was the first of my brothers to get married. Yes, I'm the middle child. I have older brothers, I have younger brothers. But this was my first of my brothers to get married. And he was supposed to get married before. That didn't work out. But I was still close with that woman because that is the mother of my niece. We're still close to this day. Her mother was best friends with my mother up until she just died last year. So for me to get a sister, I was over the moon. And generally in my family, we don't say in-laws, half siblings, steps. Right. We don't do. So my mother, my granny, and I, and my aunt, my mom's one sister, we had things we used to do every Saturday. And it was me that brought up, hey, let's include her, because they didn't know how I would feel about that going my whole life. And they were just doing these things with me. And I'm like, no, let's include her. Let's bond. Then my mother dies. And when I tell you, they did less.
180.
They did less to catch John Gotti and Al Capone than what this woman has done to me. And I mean that. Well, hold on, we got another person to add. But real quick, before we go any further, you all know what we must do. We do have the March ad, so let's run the March ad and we will come back to the conversation. And I may not be a broke bitch, but I am a creative bitch and I'm sensitive about my work. Okay, I'll just watch the ad.
Put the ad on so we can get back to this conversation.
To be sensitive, I'm a divorce.
That Christmas ad.
So we're gonna lead off this conversation here. Now, I had the unfortunate I won't say it's unfortunate, but I happened to stop and watch this movie today, which I probably should not have watched, but I watched it anyway. And it's on Netflix. If you want to watch it at your own peril. Make sure you pause every so often because you will either throw the remote or just break down and crying. So I'm forewarning you now. But I saw American Son with Kerry Washington.
Oh, I heard about
I was
Continue to talk. I have to
honestly
stop my camera for a second.
no problem. I was not ready for the conversation that would start if we were amongst a mixed group of people watching it, because you have every angle of an interracial couple. They're no longer together, and they have a son, and the son is missing, and that's where the play starts, because it was a play originally, and then
Mhm.
they did a film for it for Netflix. Now I won't spoil the ending. I mean, you may be able to guess the ending, but just the conversation that starts, because she's there waiting for her son, and the police are not telling her anything. Then her sort of ex-husband comes in, and they start talking to him because he's white, and he doesn't even know that they're together until the cop who she's talking to at the beginning doesn't even know that they're together until he literally allows him to just the dude just literally breaks off and says, "Oh my god, this girl's being so ghetto, blah 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 blah." Then he literally turns it around and he says, "Everything's gonna be okay," and he says, "Where's my son?" And the dude is like, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, just remove your foot from your mouth there, sir.
that. Right.
Just remove your foot from there, because it doesn't make sense how." And I say this to any person who is not a white person. I was just like, you don't have to have a conversation about with your children about how to act outside of this home. You don't have that conversation about what to say, what not to say, how to be or how to act, what not to wear outside of this home. Like, even to this day, when I wear a hoodie, I have to make sure if it's off when I'm walking outside.
Yeah,
Like,
because yesterday, going to a flea market that I don't normally go to because my oldest daughter wanted to hang out. And we all know I am a sucker for my kids. If they say they want to hang out, I'm going to hang out. Okay. I'm 45. My kids are grown and they still think I'm cool. I'm going to ride this wave till it ends. Okay. I forgot the area of the country that I live in. I had one of my designs on my hoodies, the melanated magic hoodie that all of my children have. I wasn't thinking because my daughter was like, yeah, let's go get pedicures first. And y'all, she paid for it. And we went to the good salon, where they have the real materials and they replace the stuff. Like, and as a mother, for those of y'all that are not parents, you don't understand why I'm stuck. I had a tear.
I get
Because
it.
your kids don't never want to pay for something unless they take you to for a four for four. So we get to the flea market and people are looking at us crazy. And then it dawned on me. It dawned on me. Because two booths closed on us and put us out while I was ready to make a purchase, like hundreds of dollars in purchase. Y'all know I love my comic books. Y'all know I love my reference books. Like, I'm ready to, oh, you got what I need. But they didn't care nothing about my money. And even today, from a tiny human Kinsley, who's turned 4, Frenchie and I get to the restaurant first. We tell them we're going to be 15 people. They're like, oh, 20-minute wait. We're just waiting for one table to clear up. That table heard it and literally sat there for 45 minutes. And then the updates didn't come to us. None of the black people in the crowd, none of the brown people in the crowd. The one white individual in the crowd was who the waitress walked over and spoke to. Now I'm holding the little buzzer thing. I got it. He handed it to me. I'm holding it.
Just this implicit biasm.
Hmm. But long ago, not only did my mother have to have this conversation with me about picking battles, and this ain't the same conversation that other people get about picking their battles. My granny had that conversation with me. My grandma had this conversation with me. My older aunts and cousins had this conversation with me to make sure I would stay alive. When they heard I was going away for college, the conversations that they had even then, to this day, and DMAC can tell you, even if I decide, because there's sometimes I like to walk to clear my head. I know that because of where I live, I need to call someone. And thank God for FaceTime and video chat. I
Yeah.
have to have someone on video just to walk to the store because if I get accused of anything, it's my word against theirs. And heaven forbid if it's a white woman, because I've been able to combat white men.
It's a different thing.
But if it's a white woman and she starts crying, even if I haven't said or done anything to her, because even last night, I made a video to put people on, because there probably will be a video popping up online. These women have my full permission to show the video. It was just one of those women helping women moments. But I was sitting at the bar because I know the bartender at this place. Amazing food. And I know if I sit at the bar, I get my food quicker and they put a little extra, extra on my plate. Who gonna be mad at that? Y'all know there's a fat bitch that lives in my body. And I was getting my good nachos. So you know where I was gonna sit. There was a woman who came in that out of everybody sitting on the bar, this white woman locked eyes with me, like locked eyes, like trying to intimidate me. And I literally said out loud under the music, like, you don't want these problems. I know everybody in here. This is the one place that you don't have that power dynamic. Leave me alone. I'm sitting here living my best life. You sit over there and live your best life. Because I saw that 75-cent beer that you got. That's nasty. Your gut's about to be choking in a minute. Leave me and my nachos alone. I just wanted my nachos. That's what I came for. And I wanted some jokey jokes. That's it.
Not the
Well,
beer.
well, it's no better than okay. So this is back before the pandemic, before this whole mess started,
Before we
and
enter zombie land.
yeah, basically, um, and I was working at the front desk of my job, and now this woman came in. Now I think I've told you this story. You're over here.
Hmm.
And so she came in with now she had one on her hip and one just running all over the place. Oh, come stand over here, Johnny. Come stand over here. Johnny is not paying any attention to her at all under any circumstances. Johnny is busy doing whatever he wants to do. So finally, I just had enough because I need her to pay attention to what she's doing because I don't need her to accuse me of nothing, not today and not tomorrow. I still need a job at the end of the day. And that's that. So I finally said, your mother said to come over here. He looks at her. He looks at me. He looks at her. He looks at me. I said, yes, come stand over here next to your mom. I'm not playing any games with you, sir. I don't got time, nor do I have the patience. And she looks at me. She's like, thank you. I was just like, just put some bass in there. You good? I'm just like, the follow through is the only thing you need, ma'am. That's it. You don't need anything else. You don't even need to hit them. It's the follow through of everything is coming out of that room, and you ain't got nothing but a bed and maybe a book.
Yep. Just like I almost got arrested once for taking my one white nephew to the store with me. And I had told him, I said, look, I got to go to this section. I know you want to come with me to go get X, Y, and Z. He was old enough. He could go through the store by himself. I was like, you go over there and get that. So I go get the stuff. We meet up at the register. And I go, okay, how much is it? Do you have the amount of money for it? Because if you don't, Just put it with my stuff. Give me what you saved up. I'll cover the difference. That's between me, you, and God. Your parents ain't got to know. Let's just get her done. Because he had been saving up for a while. I think it was a game he wanted. This woman thought that I just walked up to a random white kid and was trying to take him. Baby, don't nobody want no white baby. White people don't even want white babies. Let's be real. While they try to say that we're bad parents, we don't accidentally on purpose leave our kids in hot cars. We don't kill our kids because they got bad grades or college tuition got too high. We ain't killing the whole family because we don't want to pay out in a divorce. Now, we'll be petty. We will be petty. As Black women, you break up with us, oh, we going to get a promotion, another degree. Our body is going to bounce back, and you going to see us everywhere. You may not have seen us anywhere before you started fucking with us, but when you break up with us, trust and believe, we showing up everywhere, including your prayers at church. We we will do that. We will do that. I admit that. But ain't nobody trying to kidnap a white baby. Not to mention, if you don't belong to me and my family, you're not about to be a minor and be around me. Because even as a cheer coach, I had 3 white cheerleaders. And they was like, Coach, can you give me a ride home? I will call you a taxi, a Uber, a Lyft. You can't get in my car. She was like, well, you take such and such and such home. First of all, we're related. But baby, you white. These security cameras catch me putting you in my car?
Nope. It's over.
Nope.
Y'all know the story that people will come up with. And it's sad. But let a white woman be like, oh, yes, Jehoshaphat, you can come home with me. And
Isn't that what just happened in Mexico?
But
the white woman that faked her kidnapping?
Yeah, and don't forget the white woman who convinced a little Black child to sneak out of his house. And he did. But they still don't want to charge her. They got the text message proving that she lured him out the house.
Like a pedophile.
Exactly. They have the GPS saying that he never left her car. But
I don't know what's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take for these people to understand that we are not, like I said, and I've said it on multiple podcasts with Geeky and Taz here. I said, look, if Black people or people of color were out for revenge, y'all would be dead.
Dead by now.
You'd be dead. No tea, no shade. It would be over.
Yeah, but hold on, Gunkle, because I know, and you've said it before on the show, so I know I can say this publicly. You were raised by someone who consistently weaponized white woman tears. Give us your perspective.
Uh-oh.
Well, y'all stop wrestling over
I
here.
grew up with 2 women biologically who used white woman tears. I grew up with 3 aunts that had white woman tears. It was a whole conundrum, and I just couldn't.
It really is. It's a lot.
Especially since my mom was a real estate agent whenever I was very young, and she was a property manager for like over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
It was really like ridiculous that she decided to use the methods, even though she doesn't call it methods, she just calls it her personality, but she's also a Cancer, so I can't really say that.
We just called it Southern ways in my family. Because we're from the deep South, and it was just, and I do talk about it a lot in my platform, the colloquialisms of white families, but it was just the way we were. I mean, but we even had an aunt who was like your sister-in-law, Taz, and her name was Crazy. Her grandkids called her Crazy, and she was the rich one.
Oh, see, this one is one with bad credit and no money that had to sneakily put my daddy on their house that they're renting.
Mm,
because my son recently, my youngest son, let
mm,
me preface that, recently needed a cosigner to get a new car. So he called me.
mm, mm,
He was like,
mm.
Mom is bonded. Who else can do it? So I went in to sign the paperwork, like, here we go. I'm bonded. One, I was pissed at the white man that didn't believe that I was bonded. And then he went to go get his brown boss who didn't believe. But they tried to play me like, well, maybe you need a second cosigner. He was like, my mom could, but it was, and here's the thing, they waited until the banks closed to tell him he needed a cosigner. So he said,
What
well, in
is
a,
that called? That is a specific term. Y'all.
Mhm.
I'm reading it. What
Yeah.
is that called?
Oh yeah.
It's
I need
where
to,
they do that at the bank for you, but it's double because you're a black woman.
yeah. But here's the thing. I got notes on that book. I, if you have a
Cliff
PO
notes.
box or if you're cool with
Yeah.
me having your address, I can send you my notes directly because you know how intensive my
Oh
notes are.
yeah, your
I can send them to you,
research
and it'll
queen.
help. But and my son was like, "Well, just wait till the morning. If I need a bigger down payment, my mom will go get a cashier's check." And I told him, "I'll get a cashier's check." He has impeccable credit. It's just that he turns 21 this year, so I was like, "Okay, no biggie." But then they were like, "Well, maybe a second cosigner."
They
Y'all,
want your husband to come down there.
hold on. Y'all know I'm petty. Y'all know I'm petty, right? So I looked at my son and I was like, call your auntie who thinks that she's your mother. Because that's what she tells people. That's what she tells people.
Jesus,
Okay? Um,
Jesus, Jesus. I'm
and he
trying to be
said,
peaceful. I'm
he
trying
said,
to be
Mom, I can't.
peaceful.
Her and your brother co-sign for each other's cars because they have horrible credit. But they want people to believe that they own the house that they live in.
Mm.
Okay,
Honestly,
first of
hold
all,
on.
That's white people. That's
Hold on.
white people
Let me give
shit.
hold on. Let me give y'all my greatest black girl magic moment.
Mm.
Because I LLC'd the acronym for my company name 3 years ago. I became their landlord.
so they're paying you.
And they don't know that I bought the house. Because, like, when they said last summer that they were selling the house, but they started buying custom furniture for the house and redid the deck, I'm like, raise my property value, bitches.
The shenanigans.
Hey, if you gonna lie on me, I play smarter, not harder.
So
Mm.
here's another thing that I think people don't get when now, yes, me and Taz have had trauma responses to things that our parents have gone through, that their parents have gone through, and that their parents and so on and so forth have gone through. So it's an ingrained thing, and that cycle needs to be broken. Not gonna lie there.
Hmm.
But the problem, and I think the disconnect that white people have, is that those trauma responses that they have gone through, they've pushed them onto us so that they don't have to deal with it. Like they've literally dehumanized themselves enough to not feel any kind of empathy unless it's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I've noticed one thing, and do not get me wrong. Yes, everyone can experience trauma, but there are a lot of white people, specifically white women, that will create their own trauma, that will put themselves in traumatic situations and then go, why didn't you save me? From what?
That desperation to be oppressed.
Like, bitch, didn't nobody tell you to go outside and walk in the dark at 2 o'clock in the morning? That ain't safe for none of us women.
Right.
You got up and got dressed and did it. And I'm using that extreme situation, but I've seen so many white
Common
women
sense.
literally walk into a situation and then go, I'm traumatized because nobody saved me. Why did you do that? You made a choice to do it. That was not imposed upon you.
And
I
see,
can
Mm.
leave the house in the middle of the afternoon and
and that,
20 white dudes will try to push up on me because I'm their fetish. but I still need to get groceries. I still need to run errands and get my feminine stuff. I still need to live. I can't just haul myself up in the house 24 hours a day. But you do have a choice as to not flying out to Colorado to suck dick because you liked how he looked with a ring light and a filter on TikTok. And for and one other thing, I'm gonna need y'all to start paying attention to receipts instead of listening to people what people say over receipts. Because she was acting like they had a personal relationship. Y'all didn't peep that all of their messages went through Instagram. She didn't even have that man's number, but she decided to go raw dog his penis.
I just caught up on that today, and I'm like,
Like you might as well sit down on a public.
Quick was like, girl, I already had that information. You late.
I am very late. It's only because
I
don't
just
like their content anymore because I'm like, this doesn't make any real sense to
No,
me.
I didn't know. I was because y'all know how I am. I try to schedule my work around these conference calls that I have to do. And I hate the conference. I hate conference calls. If you work in IT, conference calls are the worst thing for you because they make you sit through all of them, and it'll be 2 minutes that actually have to deal with you, but you can't get out of them. And then they get mad because I never want to turn on my camera. Bitch, I'm still in my pajamas. I don't even like y'all like that. So I had finished the project. I had like 15 minutes before conference call, and I'm like, I cannot start anything else because I will get tunnel vision. So I'm scrolling through IG. I see Queen Kim's video, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I never like give people long responses in comment sections because I don't like when I get them. I think that was the longest comment I ever gave was under your post, Kim. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the hell?
Crazy.
And then other people started DMing me like, Taz, you need to look into this. And people knew some of my story as to me getting kicked off TikTok. And they're like, yeah, if you look into this, you're really going to be pissed. And I'm like, do I want to be pissed? And then people started flooding me with videos. And then they were like, go to her Instagram. Why are you such a white man? Jesus, come here. So as I'm looking, I'm like, yo, you gotta be fucking kid. Like, this shit didn't make sense from the beginning because right after I saw that, I called DMAC like the math ain't math. The math ain't math.
There's a comment in the comment section, the second to last.
Oh, Dub. That's my homie Dub. Dub, I know you don't. I will fill you in after this. The best way that I can.
No. The second to last one, the one right above that one.
Lois Lane complex. Jesus, that is true. Because Lois Lane stayed trying to get herself killed so she could get saved. Because she wants that Superman team.
Because she wants Superman. Yeah.
But then when she had his son and he died, she didn't like that very much. Well, just like Harley Quinn, they cried her eyes out, turned her back on her profession after doing all them years in college, then had a baby, and actually did what Banana Amanda did. Ran off with a woman, aka Poison Ivy, and raised that baby with the maybe that's what it is. Maybe white women tears is them just trying to cosplay Marvel and DC. Do they think they get superpowers after that? Because on those super checks come with that. I can tell you that much. You ain't getting no super checks. Because they don't care really if you black, white, or other when it comes to benefits. They just not gonna give them to you.
Also, another thing that we have to discuss, because I know we've kind of gone over a little bit of an hour here, but I don't care.
We don't abide by rules here.
It literally makes me utterly upset, and it's so disrespectful when because I had to address this last night to a girl who was trying to say that black women always constantly comfort him. I was like, well, gee, here's the thing: you keep coming and taking things that don't belong to you and say they belong to you. Why do you think that they're not going to address you?
See, wait a minute.
I'm like, let's get that through your thick skull. You keep coming over into my territory, taking my stuff, and expect me not to say nothing.
But here's the thing. Let's address this and dispel this right now. Black women don't come for anybody because we don't have the time and we are unbothered. We respond to you. You just don't like how we respond because you act like this is still 1619 and we're coming off of boats and that we're obligated to take care of your kids, take care of your men, take care of everything that you don't want to take care of because you were just marrying for money and you were putting out kids to get more money and save your legacy
Still
and
do
have a
today.
name in the game. We don't give a shit what you do. We're tired of being drug into the conversation. Even when you exhibit and weaponize your white tears, leave us the fuck out of the conversation. Leave indigenous women out of the conversation. Leave Asian women out of the conversation. Leave us all out of the conversation. We don't give a fuck. We want to finally be able to live our lives and just live. We are tired of living that quote from The Color Purple. All my life, I've had to fight. We're tired of fighting. We want to just sit down and have brunch with you if you cool. But stop stealing our bodies. Stop thinking that we give a fuck that you take the underruns of our black men. We don't want them, bitch. Take them. You know what? You are why I'm not gonna like white men.
It's just like when that whole abortion thing with Texas came down, and they were expecting us, people of color, to come to their defense, to come capping, come caping for them. And when black women said, "No, we're sitting this one out. This has nothing to do with us," because at the end of the day, they will still give us the operation.
Because
this ain't got nothing to do with us.
Women asking the question, has a doctor ever asked your husband or your father if you can have a tubal ligation, be sterilized? And I said no. I contemplated it once in my life. Doctor didn't ask me anything. The only objection that the doctor had was my age at the time, and I was in my early 20s. They just said, do you feel this way now because of something that happened to you or because of whatever? And they asked me to think about it for a year and put me on a great regimen of birth control because they knew that obviously I didn't want to be pregnant, but they wanted to make sure that, hey, if she don't want to, she. And honestly, I'm glad that they did do that for me because in that year, my mindset did change. I will admit it. I was having a knee-jerk reaction to having a bad pregnancy. But I didn't have to bring my daddy in. I didn't have to bring my husband in at the time. But I'm like, they put white women through so many loopholes because they're afraid that we're going to outbirth them. And in their minds, especially the white women that become Karens and weaponize their tears, they think that we're just baby factories. Like, no, baby, we stop being baby factories when y'all stop breeding us. When you stop looking at us as cattle. We don't want 50-11 damn kids. 21 and counting was not a black woman's story. It was not an indigenous woman's story. It was not an Asian woman's story. It was a white woman's story. And she raised a bunch of tone deaf white women and a bunch of pedophilic molesting white boys. I'ma call it how I call it.
They've been charged.
Tell me how they stay in court every damn month, a different one.
Because, like, it's just interesting that the law also included if you've been a victim of rape or molestation. It's just really weird that that was put in there as a stipulation too.
But what they make you prove of it, you can't prove.
Right.
And the fact that they make it 6 weeks.
But if your attacker doesn't confirm your story,
crazy.
You can't have it. What attacker is going to confirm the story?
That's
insane.
This
ain't R. Kelly that's going to have archives of footage. Let's
That's
be real.
Insane.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just nonsense at this point. They just wanted to
I was shocked when I read it. I was just like, so you mean to tell me if this woman is raped or she's molested by a family member or somebody else, she still has no options?
Wow. Yeah, no, completely taking that away. That's insane.
I was like, well, gee, just tie their hands, why don't you?
God
Yeah, there is
almighty.
I mean, well,
how can I say this without broaching? Oh, I know exactly how. Be, before we went live, I got a call about possibly hosting someone. Their father had to be hospitalized because he had a complete breakdown. His best friend from kindergarten assaulted and impregnated his daughter. And this man spiraled because he feels guilty for his daughter's assault. Because of where they live, she would be forced to carry this child. So I was asked if I would house her. I said, yes, if you need me. Um, but she doesn't know me, and I would prefer for her to travel with her mother. They can both stay with me, or there are plenty of places around me where they can stay, and I can check in on them. But she is not being granted the medical procedure that she needs for her mental and physical health because, of course, this man is going to deny it. And she cannot wait out the trial because they're like, well, after the trial, if he's convicted, she can have it. Trial
It's going
is
to be
set
months
to
at that
start
point.
in 7 months.
interesting.
That baby would be born and all the way here by then.
Yeah.
Um,
The laws are set up to just continue to keep people away from the resources that they need. Period.
And they want you to force breed and have all these babies. But after the babies are born,
Who's going to take care of them? Because the
they don't
government.
want to give, they don't want to give you housing assistance. They don't want to give you food stamps. They don't want to give you anything. I had
so
And
4 children and was divorced. Do y'all know I didn't qualify for anything because my annual income was $4 too much.
Yeah.
What the hell was I gonna do with $4 in a year?
And then the stipulations within the welfare system as well to keep Black women and Latina women getting the least amount while white women get the most amount. I know people say that that's not happening, but it does.
Yes.
The welfare system was set up for us, so it does happen. It does. It happens. No, that's why you didn't qualify after just $4 because a white woman who didn't qualify for just $4 had to get that money.
Oh
$4.
yeah.
$4.
and
And
see
see,
here,
where I was living at the time, they didn't really separate us. So you could hear other people's interviews because they were just in cubicles. And I bullshit you not. Because the person who originally was supposed to interview me had to pass off my interview because we went to high school together. And she didn't want there to be any impropriety or the law to come after me. So she had to pass me off to someone else. The woman in the cubicle next to me, basically the same situation I was in. She was signing paperwork to get everything. Medical for her kids, food stamps for her kids, rent assistant for her kids. And I'm just like, what the huh?
Crazy.
But here's the messed up part. As a Black woman, they were telling me at that time, well, if you drop out of school and take a lower position at your job, we can help you.
Wow.
How does that help my
That's-
children?
Right.
How
It helps
does
the
that help my
system.
children?
Yeah. Guys, I have to sign off. I'm so sorry.
we're
I have
over
to
our
go and do
time.
mommy stuff.
But thank you. And we're ending anyway. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
And
you
think
for
the rest
letting
of
me
you-
join you guys.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Here's my white man that thinks that he's a white woman. He's so dramatic.
The white man to
The white man, white man.
You're dramatic.
Okay.
Say goodbye. So thank you all for joining. I'm gonna hit the outro.
Leave
And,
studio.
until Tuesday.